Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. This fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
You would do it. Dig back here. Welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast with Philly 500 and what Joey Shakes. Joey, what is happening, my man?
I'm good, man. We're just 5 days away. That's it. And
Mother hump. Donovan McNabb away.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan McNabb minus the throwing up part. Sure. Hell yes. What is going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Let me first say happy Easter to everybody out there. It's Easter weekend, so I hope you enjoy your holidays. But happy Easter, everybody. And what's going on, John Jones, Daniel Sutton, Jonas, Daz, Pat Ryan. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Anybody else that's just coming in right now, thank you guys so much. And man, we are 5 days, like you said, Joey, but man, it can't get here soon enough. It has been one of the most quietest, deathly quiet all seasons I can remember in a long time.
Yeah, because we don't have that many needs, even though there are needs, but it's they're not going out and having a free agent frenzy, and they're not, they're signing a bunch of low, high rewards signings at a low cost, and that's they're putting everything into this draft. So
yeah, and for the channel, for like personal reasons and channel reasons, I like it busier. A lot more to talk about in previous years. And
100%.
But we should talk about this because this just sprang up after the fact. But the Eagles did have Ole Miss star defensive tackle Walter Nolan on a top 30 visit. One of my top 5 guys to get for the Eagles. I know you like him a lot. What are your thoughts about them bringing him in?
No, I mean, look, it makes sense. I've talked about it before. The only rumors I believe right now, I think it's going to be defensive line. I think when it comes to Walter Nolan and James Pierce Jr., I think they're waiting on one of those two guys to come down the draft board a little bit. They're going to need somewhat of an aggressive trade up because I even see Walter Nolan going top 15, top 20. So, and you've said it a million times before that these edge rushers, defensive linemen might go early because of the market. And nobody wants to pay no one wants to pay that a $30+ million price tag. Nobody wants to do it. So I love it. I mean, and I talked about the expiring contracts with our DTs going down the road with Jalen Carter needing a new contract, Moro Jomo going to his 3rd year next year. So it gives you, it at least makes you stable, but I like it. I mean, I can't complain about it. So
yeah, no, I like it too. If that's the way they go, I'm good with him, Pierce Jr., any of those guys. I'm totally fine with. I am. Davey, a member for 13 months, says Walter Nolan is the pick, but I trust Howie now. Yeah, look, I have no complaints. Although what'll happen to Jordan Davis at that point will be very, very interesting.
Days are numbered.
I mean, we'll see, Nick Marchetti says, these AJ rumors are pissing me off so ridiculous. Yeah, we're going to get into that because that's a whole nother thing, But I want to talk about Nolan first because that's actually possible that the Eagles could draft Walter Nolan. There ain't no chance they're trading AJ Brown, okay? Let's just put that out there right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think in terms of Nolan, I think him, Pierce, I think those are guys that they will definitely consider going up in the draft and getting if they can. And like I've said 1,000 times, I'm very happy if they would take a safety also because I still think you've got a major situation there,
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could go so many ways in this draft. They really can.
Yeah. I mean, they brought in Stark. So, I mean, so at least, there's some legit interest there. And as well as a lot of the other safeties they brought into, maybe early second day or mid-round type guys. So safety is definitely on the board. No doubt.
Well, and we don't know. There's still some guys we don't know that came in, so we don't know who else. There's like 5 or 6 guys we're still not sure of. I mean, because look, you would think that in the top 30 visit that they would have brought in a tight end. I mean, for all the Goedert stuff, not one tight end came to visit. What does that tell? I mean, that gives me hope that Goedert's not going anywhere. To be honest with you,
I'm on the opposite end of that. I forgot who put the news out, but I feel like he wants, since there's no guaranteed money on his contract, it's much easier to trade him now. And I think there's a lot of teams calling. The Giants were one team that called. I mean, why I don't know, but
why do we hate Dallas Goedert? Like you have to hate him. They send him to the Giants is like the ultimate slap in the face, dude.
Yeah. He might want a new contract at this point with Trey McBride making $43 million a year, and Goedert's missing 5 to 8 games a season, but he's got a lot of value. So I'm hearing not even one pick, but they can get a couple picks for him. If they can't get a pick for him this year, it'll probably be they can get away with getting an early pick, maybe a 3rd rounder for next year or the year after that. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. Drew Down, thank you for super chat. He goes, what do you guys think about AJ trolling Eagles fans? Do you think he actually wants to be a Patriot? Oh God, yeah. So I guess we'll just jump into the whole AJ thing because that's where people want to go. But yeah, AJ took a jersey of Edelman that was signed for him, and he acted and he held it up, and it looked like Patriots number 11, and people are going, including myself, what the hell's going on? Why is he holding up a number 11 Patriots jersey? And then he flips it and it's Edelman and he starts laughing. So, I guess this thing has gotten traction again from 2 ways. One, Howard Eskin is like reporting like he's hearing things and stuff like that. And then you get a broadcast, and I don't have the radio broadcast, but a broadcast where somebody, an NFL insider, Patriot fan, NFL insider, is trying to say that the Patriots and the Eagles could make a trade. And here it is basically is. There's been a lot of speculation today about the Eagles' A.J. Brown for love of New England Patriots and close relationship to Mike Vrabel headed into the NFL draft. Referring, that plus what they're hearing is that the Eagles, if Abdul Carter is on the board, they would be willing to trade A.J. Brown, the number 32 overall pick, and something else to get up to number 4 for Abdul Carter. I think this is, on both ends, is a totally stupid thing. The Patriots aren't close to winning. So why do you want to get a 27, 28-year-old wide receiver who's in his prime right now instead of younger guys? And then the Eagles, why would you do that? Does that even make any sense?
No, it doesn't add up because of the dead cap hit you're going to take, and it's going to be ridiculous. Right. And you haven't brought any wide receivers on pre-draft visits. At least if they did that, it would at least show that maybe it would give us, not we would agree with it, but at least show they're going in that direction. But to me, it's just like I don't know what came first. The jersey thing reveal came first, or this other, the broadcast that we heard from Patriots, NFL insiders. Patriots fans have been stirring this thing up because Mike Vrabel was when he was in, Tennessee. I mean, that's the only connection that you're getting out from it. So,
and AJ Brown said he was a Patriot fan growing up. That's it. Tom Brady doesn't play for the Patriots anymore. Carlos Rosado says, reported Ab Schefter, the Philadelphia Eagles will trade Goedert and Huff and Puff on draft night for Shakes and 500. Howie said, we win champs in the trenches. There you go. Dude. That's what I'm talking about. Howie would be smart to trade for us. But you're right. Here is some of the dead money cap. If you trade him before June 1st, Okay, you are 42. That would cost you $42 million in cap space. So you have 23. So it would put you'd still be over the cap by about 20 something million dollars. So it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Everybody has to relax about it. I know it's very annoying. I know it's frustrating. I did a video. I just was like, I'm not even talking about this today because I just had no patience for it. But it ain't happening. It ain't happening. And it doesn't make sense for the Eagles. And it sure as hell doesn't make sense for the Patriots because they're not ready to go win a Super Bowl. An A.J. Brown type move for a team is the type of move you make to put you over the top. Okay? And they're not there yet. So
take away the dead cap, right? Just take away that. Like, it may not make sense to us, but it may make sense to Howie Roseman in some cases because, with the Chauncey trade, obviously it's not going to cost. It didn't cost the Eagles really nothing. I mean, you're getting cap back the next couple of years, but he's looking down the road too with everything. And if you're moving into the top 10, regardless, it's for obviously two players. It's for either Abdul Carter or Tyler Warren. I mean, those are the only two players. Like to really trade up that steep, it makes no sense. But this whole thing has just been there's nothing to talk about, so it's like the only thing that they're throwing out there.
Well, I think it's triggering Eagle fans and the Patriot fans think they're willing this thing to happen. Bird Gang, thank you for Super Chicos. Trading AJ would be 90+ million dead cap. Won't happen. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to say this: if it did happen, then I would have to question the NFL as being another fixed league because in basketball, after that Luka Doncic trade where they sent him to the Lakers in his prime, I'm sorry, that shit's fixed. That comes over from the league saying we want our best franchises to have these players. How do the Lakers always get guys in their primes? I'm sorry. I think the NBA's fixed now because of it. And if the NFL had the Eagles trade A.J. Brown away, and basically you take one of the best Super Bowl teams that have come around in a long time, and you dismantle it a year later, shit's fixed. It's fixed. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest.
It's fixed, and he's blown. Yeah, and he's blowing up the team. Like you can't. I don't think you're winning without A.J. Brown. I don't think you're winning.
It's crazy. This is one of the best teams I've seen in years. They just beat a 2-time Super Bowl champion that was on the verge of history. This is one of the better teams that I've seen. You trade A.J. Brown, then you're dismantling this thing on purpose. Yes, and then to me, I'm like, who's behind that? Something else. Because
then we're going to think that Howie's not even caring about. He can stare at us blue in the face at a press conference, say he wants to repeat this year and he's doing all he can to repeat. But he wants to put more into next year because he knows he has those 12 picks. He might even have more picks in 26. So, I don't, so this obviously makes no sense.
If you want Abdul Carter, then trade 3 first-round picks for him.
Yeah,
go
that's
up
what you
that
gotta
way. Do it. But this is ridiculous talk. Right. This is one of the most ridiculous things that have gained teeth that I can remember in a long time. I mean, listen, we talk. There's always different trade scenarios, and I'm never one of those people to be totally dismissive of stuff. But this one just doesn't make sense on any level, so I don't see it happening. And I think that's why A.J. Brown is trolling, because he knows it's not happening. He thinks it's funny. So I think Eagle fans don't need to worry about it, shouldn't worry about it. I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Mark Holmes in a turtleneck. What is up? Colorado retiring Shedeur Sanders, too, is dumb. Yeah. It's a bit wild to me. Beast Guard, they were super chat. The AJ trade talk is baloney, but what if it's something to keep an eye on? People saying Jalen is elite now. We've seen elite quarterbacks win with a lot less. I mean, yeah, what? So because the Eagles consider him elite, they're going to say, well, now we'll just take your weapons away. I mean, I don't know. The Eagles have already extended both those receivers. So I don't see any need to get rid of them. But, I don't know. I don't know where any of this is coming from. I think Howard Eskin lit fire under it. And, he says a lot of crap, too. So you just don't know.
Yeah, I know Howard
Eagles
Eskin. He's got a lot of pull within the organization, and he's got a lot of background. He could try to get some news, but even the Devontae Smith mock trades that were coming out with trading with Miami to get Jalen Ramsey and getting trade number 32, a 26 second rounder for the 13th pick, like stuff like that. It's just
that was
why
what? Jalen Ramsey, 31 years old. You're going to trade Devontae Smith? No, it doesn't. And Jalen Ramsey doesn't even like Vic Fangio.
Yeah, right.
Well, why would it? It's crazy, dude. I just think you're right. I think there's just nothing, man. There's nothing with the Eagles going on.
No.
Usually the Eagles are in on everything. The Eagles are trying to go after. This year they pull back, and people are going crazy.
Yeah.
Fabio David Super J goes Huff to the 49ers and Dallas Goedert to the Chargers or Colts. I could see both those things happening, to be honest with you. Goddard to the Colts or Chargers makes a lot of sense to me.
Shane Steichen.
It seems like somebody's going to trade for Goddard. It seems like the Eagles are going to trade him in draft night. So I'd be surprised if we got through. If we're sitting here, Saturday, going through that 7th round and Goddard's still in this team, I'll be a happy guy.
I think it's a draft sweetener for a trade up. I think trading Goddard. I think he's trade bait. I honestly, at this point, if he's not traded within the next few days, and I think we're going to see him trade on draft night for like a little bit of a sweetener to trade up, and without giving up a lot of picks. Like, what's going to make you give up less picks to trade up in the first round? Trading a player with maybe a pick for maybe one of our 5th rounders, or since we have 4 of them, who knows? So possibly.
Yeah. Kyle, thank you for Super Chickens. Philly, I'm taking off work to watch the draft.
Hey,
that's what you got to do, man. Me too. And we will be streaming live all weekend, every minute. We got the Matt Corral jerseys are polished. They're ready to go. And I can't wait.
Ready to go.
Paul Feder, thank you for Super Chickens. What's a bigger hole? Defensive tackle or safety? Edge, defensive tackle or safety? I think safety. Yeah, I think safety. Because I think with the edge rushers, you got some guys. You need to add depth and parts of the rotation. Same with defensive tackle. You need depth. You need guys to be part of the rotation. But safety, who do you have at safety? Who's your starter?
The depth is not good right now.
Sidney Brown? I mean, we can't count on Sidney Brown.
No.
There's nobody, there's not a safety on this team that you can legitimately trust 100% that they can do the job. And I'm not saying Sidney Brown can't. Maybe he'll come in and win it, but you have to have competition. You have to have a legit. So safety has to be the immediate need. Immediately right now for your team going into next season. Right now, safety is your biggest hole.
Yeah, it's true.
I think they are keeping Goddard one more year. I bet they restructure his deal like they did Josh Sweat last year. Then he could go next year. This makes most sense. I think they draft tight end as 2nd or 3rd. Hope you're right.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Hope you're right. I want Goddard to stay. To me, it's like, I don't know.
It's creating another hole.
That are on this roster that are better.
No, it's creating another hole. That's all you're doing.
Yeah. We don't want to create holes. We want to fill those holes.
Penetrate those.
Russ. I think the most important thing is to get Jalen Carter, another elite guy, to take the pressure off of him. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's unimportant, but man, I still think Jordan Davis is capable. I think Ojomo is getting better and better. So I think you could survive, but you got nobody at safety. Like you don't have a starter there.
Yeah, you got nobody long term at safety. You have nobody long term that's going to step up next to Carter for a few years. We could probably argue that, but yeah.
1-2-5. Let's trade for Travon Walker and build that 2021 Georgia Bulldogs defense that only allowed 10 points per game. I would also love if we kept Goddard. Yeah, well, Travon Walker is interesting. Did they pick up his franchise? Like he's franchised?
They pick up his option already. I think they already picked up his option.
So they they got to figure it out. You know, it'll be interesting to see if they would actually want to trade him. You know, whatever happened to Easy Money? He swore. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where Easy Money is.
I totally forgot about it.
I haven't seen him. Phil, you hear about Thibodeau is on the trade. Okay, so yeah, here's another trade we should talk about. Goedert. The rumors are Giants are interested in Goedert, and the Eagles could try to get Kayvon Thibodeau back because the Giants might draft Abdul Carter, and if they draft Abdul Carter, they got a lockjam at the edge rusher position, and really Thibodeau is the guy that is going to have value on the trade market because teams are going to want to get him while he's on a rookie deal. So, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think the Giants would be interested in trading Kayvon Thibodeau to the Eagles?
Probably not. I don't know because an inside in division trade is going to cost more. I mean, you would want to charge a team more in the division, especially knowing how good the Eagles are. So, I mean, even a player that statistically just didn't really do that well, but in a rotation would not be bad. But I don't think the Giants would even offer it. I don't think they would even try to do that with the Eagles at all.
I mean, I would be up for it, but I'm not giving like any first round pick or anything like that, But he's a guy to me that has been inconsistent. Now, maybe once they get off the Giants, their talent could come out. I don't know, but I mean, it's an interesting trade. I wouldn't be upset by it. It wouldn't upset me if it happened, but I don't think it's realistic either. Young Ghost Saver Super Chat goes, I think the Giants are dumb for not wanting to Shedeur. What are your guys' thoughts if they don't take Shedeur? Do you think it's smart? I think the Giants are dumb all the way around. Like, the fact that they went and they brought in Russell Wilson, and now they're going to win more games than they probably should or need to, just so they could save a GM's job that should have been fired. I think the Giants have to come away with a franchise quarterback in this draft. Or I think they're going to lose their opportunity to get a top-notch guy. So, to me, if I was the Giants, I probably would be hoping to get a quarterback. I really would.
Yeah, they're on a 1 year. I mean, they're pretty much. I think Daboll and Joe Schoen are pretty much on their last years of trying to get something to show some life in that team right now. And
and Danielson says they could trade back and get Shedeur. Yeah, exactly. They could get more picks and still get them. So to me, but the Giants, when you keep a GM who's like, should have been fired for all the stuff that happened to the Giants last year, and then you keep him, you think he's going, oh, I really care about that first round pick 2 years from now, or I really care about that franchise quarterback developing in 2-3 years? No, he's not going to draft a quarterback for another GM to come in and develop under that guy. No, he's going to want to do everything to keep his job. And he goes into win now mode. And that's what you see. The Giants. Why are the Giants trying to win 3 or 4 more games? For what? What does it do for you? It's just stupid.
Daniel Jeremiah says some stuff earlier today on the Eagles and a lot of teams in the first round. He says, I think there are a lot of teams in the draft that would like to go in reverse, and the Eagles could be one of those few teams that would be willing to put their foot on the gas and go get somebody. They have a ton of picks. I think they have 12 picks next year, so they could be a team. You're always looking at teams that could move back. Say it's Walter Nolan who's there. Maybe that's someone they would be aggressive for and move up. That's what Jeremiah said.
Well, you know what's going to happen? All these teams want to trade out. They want to trade back. So when you get all those teams wanting to trade back, the price to go up becomes a lot cheaper. So you get a guy like Howie who will do the opposite and take advantage of what the trends are. That's what he does. He takes advantage of what the trends are. So if everybody's moving back, he's going to find value in it, and he's going to go up because he could get up higher than he normally could. That's what he's going to do. So, I expect the Eagles to trade up in this draft. I would be surprised if they stayed at 32. I would be mildly surprised if they traded out of first round. I think they're going to go up because I think there's going to be a bunch of teams that want to get out of the first round or get to the end.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Bryce, my man, thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Said Goedert and Huff will be gone. It'll be a little tough to trade up, but we need a safety, defensive tackle, edge, a third wide receiver, another linebacker, but got to hit these picks with money. We got to pay others. No, you got to hit the picks.
Yes.
It's an important draft. You got to hit the picks. I totally agree with you there. And look, I think if you look at this draft, I think the first 3 picks are going to be, I think, a safety. Not in any order. It doesn't matter. But, I mean, it's going to be edge, safety, defensive tackle, or safety, edge, and tight end. It's going to be something like that.
Yeah.
The first few picks. But you do not have a safety at all. That that's the thing to me. I just keep looking at going, well, like I can look at this team and every other player, I can be like, yeah, we got starters here, we got guys here, we got some guys here, but who do you got a safety? Like, how do you feel? How can anybody feel comfortable with the safety position right now?
Yeah, what I really liked, even from the last press conference that Nick and Howie had, when Howie talked about, he's not basing his board off of needs, it's going to be based off of value. So if they're in a situation where the board's not really going in their direction, or where it's really falling to where they feel like they're going to be reaching for a player that really they know that's going to hit on the second day early, they might trade the pick back. It just really depends how this board falls. But I'm glad they're not trying to, they're not basing off of one guy. Of course, they're going to have guys that they want, but they're going to see how the board falls, and they really want that value in that player. And if they feel like a lot of, maybe defensive linemen are going like crazy, they might jump to go get the first safety. Like, I think it just depends where it's at.
Yeah, it just depends. It does. I just wonder, though, like, that first round pick gives you that extra year. You get that extra year. I mean, I think that's important. The bells whom they've told are going off.
Sorry, that's my alarm. I'm sorry.
Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, damn, it's Christmas. I think too many we don't know. He's a Bulldog Fangio. Yeah, I want Malachi too. Howie has been on fire since the Smitty draft. He's been really, really good. There's no question about it. He has been absolutely fantastic since that. And I mean, that's why we're doing what we're doing now, because you got so many guys that you have to resign, But I think that at some point, you have to add some talent for this coming season.
Yes.
And, I don't know if I'm at 32 and Nolan's off the board, Pierce is off these guys are off the board, and Malachi Starks is sitting there. Get him. Go get him. I'm not saying he's going to be the greatest safety ever to come in and play, but he's a solid starter that could start right now, and I believe be an upgrade in a few years over what C.J. Gardner-Johnson was. So to me, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing that you get a guy like that.
No, I mean, another thing too is like, what if you add more? What if you don't add an edge rusher in the first round, maybe the second round? Like, they've already added Uche and Ojulari. I mean, how many more bodies are you going to add? Because if they add another one in the draft, it's like, what about Bryce Huff? Like, are they going to be, if he's still on this roster by training camp, are they going to be forced to play him because of the money he's making? I mean, what if they add so many guys that are out playing him in training camp, and he's just like not really playing up to par? What do they do at that point? That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
To dump that contract,
What do you think about cornerback? Do you think the Eagles would consider taking a corner in the first round?
I don't know. They've had interest on second day guys, a lot of second day guys. I don't know if cornerback will be their strong. So I mean, I don't even know how they feel about Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo, if it's even a competition. I really don't know what their plan is there.
I think they like Ringo, and they brought Adoree Jackson as a security blanket and somebody to push for, like, challenging him for the position. But I don't know how much they can know. I feel better about Ringo than about Sidney Brown. Like, I feel better about that cornerback position than that safety position. I don't feel good about that safety position at all.
Yeah, no, I don't. No, because he hasn't had much. Sidney Brown hasn't had much reps at safety for a while, and he played a lot of special teams and had a few reps here and there, but not much. So he'll have an opportunity in the offseason program to get a lot of reps there and see what happens.
And listen, it doesn't have to be a safety in the first round. Like, I think there are some safeties in the second and third rounds that can come in and be pretty decent. That Makumba kid, kid from Penn State.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there are guys out there. It doesn't have to be. But, if the draft falls the way I think it's going to fall, where you've got a heavy amount of defensive linemen and edge rushers off the board,
right,
and you're sitting and it's like 28, 26, 27. Dude, go up and get the best safety and put them right in and not worry about it for the next 4 or 5 years. I have no issue with that. To me, it's like a no-brainer,
Right.
And like I said, I know they talk about trading out of the first round, but what are you going to get for it? What you're going to get? What? Like, okay, we're going to get like a second and then throw me an extra third. You've got 20-something picks in the next 2 years. How many more do I need? Give me first round pick in 2026. Otherwise,
Yes.
I'm staying.
Yeah.
I'm staying in the first round, and I'm using that extra contract year to my advantage.
Yeah, well, because if you trade back and they're not even in contention for at least the first few picks, and on the second day, it's just like you're just losing more just by playing the patient game. And like you said, like somebody would have to offer, like if someone's like trying to move into that 32 spot, and they like, unless it's a first round pick for next year, hell yeah, like I'll take that deal immediately, because you feel like you just have to at that point.
I feel like there are 3 guys that they'll trade up for, possibly.
Okay.
I think Malachi Starks, maybe if it's close, like around 29 something, they might, if they feel like they got to just get him. But I think the guys that they would really want to go up for, just gut feeling, is Pierce, Nolan, and that Izraku kid from Bolsa College. Like, I would not be surprised if they love that kid.
Yeah.
Because he has size also. He's like 280 pounds. And then you got to think about that kid, a Scorton kid. There's another guy that, that they like a lot. Is he going in the first round, or is he going in the second round? So, there's options out there. There are. But at the end of the day, if there's 5-6 defensive, like 5-6 edge rushers off the board, and the best safety sitting right there, I'm taking it.
Just take it. True.
Score is solid. Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think the Eagles, they've got to at some point start accumulating talent for this year. Okay. Like, look, I like Ojulari. I thought that was a good, low tier signing with high upside. Same with the other kid. But real talent, like adding real talent to his team, I think you got to do it in this draft, and you got to be aggressive. I do.
I think it's the perfect draft. I think all your needs are right there. I mean, there's a lot of talent with, especially first, second day. I mean, there's a lot. They brought in a lot of guys that have a lot of value, even in the second round, second day. So
right. Taking safety the first doesn't make sense, especially now that the D linemen are getting paid $30+ million. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You're paying these. They're not. It's actually like $40 million. You're right. So on that level, I get it. But at some point, it can't just be about the money down 2-3 years down the road. It's got to be about the talent. And because of that, see, my thought, Daz, is because of that, and because of what you're saying, you're going to have a lot of them off the board, to the point where are you going to take the 8th best edge rusher, 7th best edge rusher, because
you're reaching.
You don't want to pay him $30-40 million in 4 years? Are we going to really worry about that, or are you going to get the best talent at that point? Like at some point, the position is you're not getting the best player because you're worrying about the money. Like at some point, you gotta worry about getting talent. And if you get a rookie safety, okay, and you plug him in and he plays right away, well, guess what? Now you can sign Reed Blankenship to an extension. Because part of the problem was they knew Chauncey was sitting there and Reed's extension's coming up. They didn't want to pay both those guys. So I get it, but I think that's the reason why you're going to have to take a safety, because everybody, I think, in the NFL is thinking that along those lines. I don't want to pay the lineman $30+ million next year. Let's draft one. I think a lot of teams are thinking that.
Yeah, I agree.
I just do. James Pierce Jr., mark my words, Vic Fangio turn. Look, if James Pierce Jr. is there, fine. But I mean, dude, I've seen him going as low as 13, 14, 15 in that range. What if he could be long gone before the Eagles ever pick?
We say that now.
Yeah, look, if I had to guess who the Eagles would take, I believe it would be Pierce Jr. I believe he's probably their number one target. That would be my guess. But he's got to be there. He's got to make it. He's got to make it to 20. If he makes it to 20, then I think the Eagles go up.
Yeah, they should.
That's what I think. And I wouldn't blame them if they did.
Right.
But you have no safety next year.
Mm-mm.
None. Walter Nolan, Eagles land said Walter Nolan or bust. He's another guy that's like, dude, he was like going to be there. Then he was going to be in the mid to early 20s. And he's another guy I'm seeing skyrocket. So where are these guys going to go? That's the question. Draft Maxwell Harrison. Thank you so much for Super Chat. Just draft quarterback Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky and make quarterbacks hold the ball. We can also get a safety 64.96, which 8 positions should we draft? Which 8 positions should we draft? I think you got to draft the edge, a defensive tackle, safety. I think you got to draft another cornerback. I think you need another running back, another offensive lineman.
Linebacker.
You're going to need another linebacker. I don't remember if I said a safety, but you're going to need a couple defensive backs. You need a tight end. So you're going to need a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
The question is where do you go for the first couple? Maxwell Harris, would he come in and start right away? Yeah, probably. I like that. I like the idea of any pick that's going to play. Anybody that comes in and play. So that would not offend me or bother me, that pick.
Yeah. And I think that's what they're looking for. They're looking for at least 2 starters. If you can get 3 out of this draft, you can hit on 3 picks. You're golden. I mean, they've been hitting on others. I mean, Morrow almost a 7th rounder. I mean, look, some guys just take more time. They don't flourish in 1 year. Milton Williams didn't flourish in 1 year. He got better throughout the few years he was here. So some of these guys are going to take a little bit of time. Right. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. KJK said, I wouldn't pay Reed. That's the reason talking about drafting safety early. If we traded Reed and still had CJ, we would not even think about drafting safety early. We need upgrade at both. So you don't think they should resign Reed? See, I thought Reed Blankenship was way better than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's
at least last year. I mean, I thought he played pretty good. I think he's a solid safety, and I think I would extend him. I would give him a contract extension, but you have to have another safety next to him. And if you have a rookie safety that's playing on that rookie year, then you free up the ability to go sign Reed Blankenship to an extension.
Right.
I mean, I don't think Reed is like, he's not Brian Dawkins. I don't think he's, like a top 5 safety in the league, but I think he's very decent. I think he's borderline Pro Bowl type safety.
Yeah, put into a good system with good players around him, like he flourishes really nice. Like he's gotten better.
So I could see them wanting to extend. I mean, from what I heard, they want to extend him. And if you extended him and he's making more than CJ, then now you're going to have to pay CJ too. And I think that was the issue they're looking at. But the question is who could come in? For me, it's who could come in and contribute right away. That's to me what I want. I want somebody to come in and play. Damn it, play.
Yeah.
And if they could find guys that do that, I'm all for it. But I don't want a developmental project at round 1, because I don't want the Eagles to say, well, damn, all right, look, the top 5 edge rushers are off the board. We have the 6th best edge rusher on the board still, but we've got these other players, other positions ranked higher than him. But let's take him anyways, so we don't have to worry about paying $40 million in a few years. Like, you can't think like that all the time. Like, you've got to balance. At some point, you've got to accumulate talent that can play and play right away, and that's what I think they need to do.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I don't know what our obsession with getting the next Dawkins is. I don't know. I mean, I really wasn't thinking it in terms of like, let's get the next Dawkins. I just think that you don't have a safety. You just don't have a guy.
Right.
Justin Simmons may be what they're going to do. I mean, if you listen to Simmons talk, it sounds like it, but man, I really hate that. I don't want to rely on it.
It's not long term. It's not long term.
I don't. I want to get out of that Kevin.
Yeah, I know.
Type phase. I want to get. Your success last year, in my opinion, was because you had so many young players contribute and play at a high level. Why change up from that now? Let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
40-6. Thank you for the super chat. Because if we go safety, I want Nick Amenwari, not Starks. Nick is a high ceiling, Starks is a high floor. I really want Nolan next to Jalen Carter for the next 4 years. Nolan's fine with me. I'll take him any day of the week. Let's see. Pierce, any day of the week, I'm happy. Nick Amenwari, I agree. I think he's got higher upside. He's a better athlete. But I think Starks probably fits what the Eagles would be looking for more than Amenwari. That's why I think Malachi Starks. Yeah,
and I think Starks is an upgrade over CJ because I think his coverage ability is a lot better, and and he's got that pushback attitude. I think it's a combination of what the Eagles really want. I think he's going to be high on the radar. Because I think these defensive linemen are going to go real early. So if you're going to make the jump, get the jump on Malachi Starks. I mean, if you got a shot, just move up and get him.
Yeah. Rogue says, don't forget, if Ringo struggles, we will still have Ricks. I see us trade up for Malachi Starks. Ricks is interesting. Excuse me, but I think Rick's he's got talent. You think he could be a sleeper pick to come in and steal that job?
Yeah, I heard from some of the beat writers that don't count Eli Ricks out of the competition, and because he's been waiting for his shot. And we saw a sample size from him a couple years ago when we had a lot of injuries with Zech McPherson in the inside corner spot, and we had guys shuffling into that position as like a physical man-to-man guy. Like Eli Ricks played good at those games against Tyreek Hill when he was in with the Dolphins. We've seen a little sample size from some of these guys, but as much as a zone guy, I don't know. But yeah, count him in, man. You never know.
Yeah. Mad Titan, thank you for the super chat. He goes, good evening, boys. The cap hit for trading AJ is not doable financially. Yeah, we pulled that up here earlier in the beginning of the show. It's not doable at all. And it's not going to happen. Why this thing has taken the life it had. I think I blame Howard Eskin for this because this thing was dead. It was dead, and the only way it was going to be revived is by Philly media guy. And he comes out and says what he said, and it just started this whole thing back up. And then you got the radio broadcast. Now you got everybody talking. He couldn't just let lying dogs die. Just let that thing die.
Yeah.
Draft Maxwell, thank you for super chat. He goes, Harrison is going to be better than Nolan and Starks. There you go. I don't mind another corner. I don't mind it because I look at it like, well, Harrison's going to go out there and he's going to start. Any position that you're telling me is going to be a guy that comes in and plays this year, I'm open for drafting. I am.
True.
Howie says, I really like Starks, but not be mad if Winston Jr. was our pick. I like Winston Jr. My only concern about him is his injury. Coming back this year, like, is he going to be able to contribute right away? Because like I said, early picks, I want guys that can contribute. I want guys that come in and play. And if you can't come in and play right away, then I'd rather go somewhere else. This, to me, draft, this is not like the most talented draft in the world. Like, I don't think there's a lot of blue chip players. I don't think there's a lot of big franchise changing players. But I do think there are a decent amount of guys that have high upside and also decent amount of guys that can play and contribute right away. And that's why I'm like, Malachi Starks is perfect. He may never be Brian Dawkins, I say it again, but he's going to be a solid safety. I know he's going to be a solid safety. So to me, because it's not the most talented draft in the world, just get guys that can play, man.
That's it.
Who's the bigger douche, Eskin or Cataldi? The question for the ages.
Oh,
I don't know. I think I gotta go Eskin. Cataldi says stuff, but I can like find humor in what he says. Eskin sometimes could be a jerk. Yeah, Mukumba. He almost killed Cart. Yeah, Mukumba's a hitter.
Yeah,
I like that kid a lot, dude. If you want to take like Nolan in the first and then come back in a set and take Mukumba, that's an A+ draft. I'm totally great with that. I love that. I do. I have no issue with that. Like if James Pierce Jr., Walter Nolan, or the kid from Boston College, if any of those three guys are the target the Eagles go after and trade up, I'm happy. I'm happy as hell about any of those guys over a safety.
Yeah,
I am. But if those guys are gone, I'm going safety. Political Goblins, thank you for Super Chicos. New rumor, Devontae Smith to Miami. What the F? Yeah, we dealt with this one. It was Devontae in the 32nd pick for what? Ramsey and the 13th pick overall.
Man, a 26 second rounder.
Yeah, that's so stupid. Ramsey and Vic Fangio don't get along. They don't even like.
No.
He was one of the guys that ran Fangio out. He said Fangio doesn't know how to use him. Fangio wants him to do things that he doesn't do, and I can't see a situation where Fangio is going to now accept Ramsey in.
No.
Linda says the draft will overreach for Izraku, maybe Nolan also. I think all those edge rushers and defensive linemen they're going to reach for. Like I personally think you're going to see a huge run on them. Like we saw with offense early. I think you're going to get your top 10 pick. It's going to fall how most people probably expect in one way or the other. Then I think when you get to the teams, I think you're getting a huge run on edge rushers and defensive linemen. So I think there's going to be a lot of guys that go way earlier.
Yeah.
However, what does that mean? That means that you get other positions that they fall, and you might get the best safety maybe on the board.
It's a win-win for us because I mean, if there's more safeties taken off the board, I would say maybe an offensive lineman. There'll be some tight ends. There'll be a few quarterback. I mean, I think it's gonna fall. It's gonna fall for us. Go ahead. Good.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying when we're streaming and we're like. And they're at like the 15th pick in the draft. When we're like 15, I'm going to know which way I want them to go. Because if you're getting a bunch of edge rushers off the board, I'm going to start saying, Joey, man, these guys are coming off the board. We got to go safety. Or if they're falling, I'm like, dude, these guys are falling. We got to move up and take Pierce. He's there,
Right.
Like right when we get to about 15, 16, I think we'll have an idea of how they got to go in this draft. 500. Howie will trade AJ because AJ Vrabel are great friends. It ain't happening, my friend. Let me show you this. Listen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it ain't happening because if you look at the salary cap, the cap savings, it would put the Eagles well over the cap. They could not afford that the amount of money it would cost to get rid of him. Not just in dead money. You're talking about $59 million in dead money, but it's a $42 million cap hit just for next year. It's another $20 million cap hit the year after. There's no way it's happening, my friend. It's not going to happen. A.J. Brown is the only Patriot stuff you're going to ever see A.J. Brown wear was when he held up Edelman's jersey. That's it. That's it. You guys aren't ready. New England's not ready for A.J. Brown anyways. You guys still got more building to do.
Yeah.
Bald Eagle, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, I'm tempted to trade back just to stack picks for next year. This draft is garbage. Browns plus Giants should draft a quarterback second round and get Hunter and Carter first. Hey, listen, I'm all for that. Only if you could get a first round pick next year. Like, I don't want another second round pick and a third round pick to trade out of the first round. I want a 2026 first round pick in return.
Mm-hmm.
So you give me the Giants first round pick next year. You give me the Browns first round pick next year. So I'll do it. I'll straight up trade that thing for nothing but that pick back.
Yeah.
You know, I will. We're gonna cry when AJ goes to New England.
Who is this guy?
It'll be a lot worse than crying. Believe me. It would mean the NFL's fixed. That's what it would mean. It's not happening. It's not happening. Linda, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you so much. I think the Giants will come up and trade for a 32nd pick swap with the 34th pick, giving them a fifth-year option for a quarterback, and we could get another pick. Yeah, I could see it because I think the Giants, if they don't take a quarterback at 3, they have to get a quarterback in that next pick. And then if you get a team that wants to jump the Giants, things get interesting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I could see a situation like that. But they're going to have to overpay. Team's going to have to overpay.
Oh yeah,
for me.
Oh yeah, you have to. You have to at that pick. You have to. No doubt.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's an interesting question. If we get a safety in the first, who would you want to get in the second? Well, I mean, it would depend who's there, but my probably target would be an edge rusher at that point, going in the second pick. An edge rusher is probably where I would look, or a defensive tackle or a tight end. Just depends who's there.
Yeah, like last year we almost did the same thing when Cooper DeJean was still on the board, and that's going into the second day. That was we said it's got to be Cooper DeJean. Like there's no way they pass on him. Got to trade up for him.
That was one of those things. Like that was like slow motion night, wasn't it? It was like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, another pick. Cooper just like I'm thinking first 3 picks, DeJean's gone.
Yeah.
Then you get to like the 5th pick in a second round, 6th. I'm going, oh, this is killing me.
Yeah.
Come on, Howie. And then boom.
Got it done.
Luke Bradshaw, man, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, y'all nailed the top 30 visitors prediction. Howie was waiting to the last few days to bring in guys he's really interested in. Give me Starks or Pierce. Yeah, it makes sense. I had a feeling he was doing that because, you want to keep those other teams off track as much as possible. I think he's going to make a play for Pierce and Nolan or in a high trade up. That's what I think. I think if he could get up into like the early to mid 20s, he's going after Pierce, Nolan, one of those guys if they're there. If he can't do that, I think the next option is going to be like a minor trade up to get Malachi Starks. And if that doesn't work, he may go out of the first round.
I forgot because my memory's really bad. Did they bring in Pierce for a pre-draft?
No,
they haven't.
They I don't think they met with Pierce in a pre-draft, but they met with Pierce. I think they had. I don't want to say Zoom calls, but I think they had some other engagements with Pierce, if I remember correctly. Okay. However, all the reports we've heard is the Eagles love him. Now, maybe that's to throw people off, but he seems like he would fit the Eagles and what they would like to do. And like I said, there's still like 5 or 6 guys we don't know. We just found out Walter Nolan was one of those guys.
Yeah, right, right.
But who knows? Joey, I know, has a video addressing AJBs. I can't wait to see. What is he talking about? What?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
I just don't know. I can't imagine how he doing safety. Signing Simmons just seems inevitable. They just can't do it until after the draft. It's like, why? Don't you remember Kevin Byard? You had such success with like taking young guys and playing them. And I don't, Lane, I don't disagree with you. It's not something he typically does.
Yeah, but I have heard besides Simmons saying what he said the last 2 podcasts, I've heard nothing from any news outlet that even connects him. That's even really connecting him to the Eagles at this point. I mean, these free agents that are available right now that are still like out here without a job, they're going to wait till after the draft because that's what these guys do. They want to make sure they get a starting job. They don't want to sign to a team before the draft in case they get, in case they draft at their position or I don't know, anything like that. So I've heard nothing from any type of third party front besides those 2 little podcasts he has saying, I think the Eagles are on high on his list, but I'm just like, we're not, like that era's done with. Like, we're done with that. We're done.
Yeah. And I see comments saying it wasn't Byard's fault, it was coaches. Yeah, I agree. I know he did have a decent year with the Bears yesterday. He did. But I just, to me, it's like you've had such success with playing young guys and letting them develop and play. Why do you want to go add 30-year-old guys now? I don't get it. To me, stay away from that.
Unless it was like one position you need, like that was the only, unless it was just, I don't know.
Listen, they could draft a safety and bring Simmons in anyways, just as insurance for a veteran help. So it's very possible. I think Justin Simmons is going to be an Eagle. I mean, I just think based upon the things he says, it feels like he already knows it. But to me, I'm not shying away from a safety because I got Justin Simmons getting ready to come.
No, and I feel like safety and DT are almost in they're almost in the same boat because of expiring contracts, or you have no freaking depth at those 2 positions. You're really in the same boat almost. You feel better about DT because you have Ojomo, you have someone there, but safety is completely empty in my opinion. Like I said, you're not putting everything on Sidney Brown. Fangio's not just going to hand the job to Sidney Brown. It's like, oh yeah, you're the starting safety, so prove it to me. And what if he doesn't work out or gets hurt again? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, drafting you draft Starks or you draft Amon Warrior, you draft Makuba, and then you bring in Justin Simmons. I'm good with that. I'm totally fine with that. But you got to get a safety. Linda says 500. Bring back the red hat for draft night. This one, you mean? Ooh. Ready to go. We are ready. We are ready to go. I've been ready for the draft for about 2.5 weeks. Telling you, I'm ready. I just need this thing to get started.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we're getting close. We're like 5 days away, and we're not getting any nits and bits of anything. It's just so. Usually everything heats up this week. Everything will heat up, and there'll be all these rumors flying around what they're gonna do.
You're gonna get a wave of rumors like a week before the draft, like we're getting now. That are all bullshit, bullshit. Which is why I think the AJ Brown stuff fits in. Then you get the draft stuff like a day or 2 before the draft, and then it gets refuted like it's not real, and then it ends up being real. It happens all the time.
Right.
So we'll get something this week, but it's a weird draft because usually in years past you kind of get a pretty good idea of what the Eagles want to do.
Right.
This draft could go so many different ways, dude.
It's true. It's true.
And that's why my whole philosophy for this draft is just come out of this draft with guys that can play right away. That's all I want. If we draft Walter Nolan, does that mean that I have to give up on Jordan Davis? I'm not ready to do that. And I really like Walter Nolan. I think he's talented,
But don't you think his days are numbered, though? Don't you think Jordan Davis' days are numbered?
I think Jordan Davis, dude, I still believe Jordan Davis can become
I do too.
That I still believe he can. So I'm not ready to give up on him yet. But if they draft Walter Nolan, that's the end of Jordan Davis. All right, they'll pick up his probably his option year because he's what, $12 million that year, that final year. But he's gone. They're not going to sign him to an extension. You're not going to sign 3 first-round picks at defensive tackle to long-term extensions. It's not going to happen. So when I hear Walter Nolan, I go, yeah, I really like Walter Nolan. But damn, am I ready to move on from Davis? Davis came in clutch in the championship game, came in clutch at the Super Bowl. Maybe Davis has turned a corner, you know? And then I look at it like, you know, we talk about all the edge rushers again. Okay, yeah, Pierce, we get the kid from Boston College. Yeah, they're all good. They could be good in someday. But what do I think of Jalix Hunt? I think Jalix Hunt's a star.
Yeah.
I think he's a star. I think he's a star. I think you already got 2 premier pass rushers for the next 10 years. Let him play.
And nobody talks about it. And nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about Jalix Hunt. Nobody talks about Moro Jomo. Nobody talks about Jordan Davis. And I think the big thing on Jordan Davis is that because is he living up to what he is in the draft? And not precisely it's going to be on the spreadsheet, but Fangio did a thing where he took his reps away during the year, like just lessened his reps a little bit, and then put him in these situations where if they need more of a pass rush, they take him out. And if they feel they need a stop or it's short yardage or something like that or whatever. I mean, and he gave him more of an opportunity in the playoffs and he ran with it. So, you know, situationally, not saying they're using him in situations, but you know, Fangio knows what he has, and I think he played really well. Like I think like the last 2 games, I understand like I said, you're not going to see a lot of sacks. You're not going to see, but you have a player in Jalen Carter that's just making everybody better. I mean, we're so lucky to have Jalen Carter. It starts with Jalen Carter.
And I get it. He'll probably make Walter Nolan a star.
Oh, probably.
He probably would.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So you have to take that into account because, like, if we didn't have a Jalen Carter on this team, then it's you would have to really be selective on a DT that you would really have to get in this draft. But you just need like a product next to him that's just got a lot of talent, but will be even better with what you have in Jalen Carter that's going to be playing right next to him. So I think it's, you know, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be interesting.
Separating the Georgia boys of chemistry, those boys is a dangerous thing. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Joe Vegas says, I believe Howie has this idea. First, trade up for a better pick in the first 2 rounds. Move up, use some of your picks you have in your pocket and get quality. I like that. Yeah, I agree. He's saying move up in the first and in the second. I love that idea because I could come away with 2 guys that could play right away. I absolutely love it. And you have way more than enough picks to do that.
At 10 picks.
I mean, you got a lot.
4 fifth rounders.
Yeah. I mean, you got, think about what you have next year as well. So you have plenty of ammo to do that. And I hope that's what they do. Really, I want guys that can play because I think that you have such a great coaching staff defensively. You're not going to have Clint Hurt how many more years? How many more years is Christian Parker going to be there? These guys develop young talent.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it.
True.
So, I mean, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. It is. Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt will dominate in the Super Bowl. They did dominate in the Super Bowl. And if you look at Nolan Smith, what he did in the playoffs was fantastic. But you go look at Jalix Hunt's numbers; they're almost identical. And I mean, I've showed this 1,000 times already. The numbers of him and Josh Sweat in the postseason are almost identical. They're almost identical. And people look at that like, oh, a lucky run. I guess it's a lucky run. I look at that and I say, he could play.
But dude,
he could play.
he started so late. They put him in the rotation so late in the season. I know he was hurt in the offseason program, and then like he played some special teams. He really didn't have like a big opportunity there, and then they started putting him in the rotation. And even Vic Fangio said, "Look, like it's just going to take time for some of these guys." And he talked about him coming from a small school, and then playing on the NFL level. That's big. It's big for a guy that's coming from a small school. He's not at some big school or anything like that, but Jalen Hunt was handpicked. We're like, I want to see what this kid can do, and man, hit the playoffs. Like, and that's where it was like a few of the games that he played during the regular season were like it was like his preseason, and then when he got into the playoffs, man, he just Nolan Smith, Jalen Hunt. I mean, I don't know why people aren't talking about this, dude.
I think people are sleeping on Jalen Hunt like big time, and I think people are going to be surprised.
Uche, a guy that had, double-digit sacks, in what was it, 22 or 23, whatever, got traded during the season in an intricate system to Spag's system in KC, and, a hard defense to really kind of grab onto. And I think with a whole offseason with the Eagles and what he could do some damage. I mean, Azeez Ojulari, another one, might take another one away from the Giants, potentially.
Yeah, I agree. Robert says Nolan would fit the Williams spot. Yeah, he would. And if you drafted Walter Nolan, you would get 2 years of Davis and Nolan if you don't trade Davis.
It's great.
You pick up his contract year, and then you have him 2 more years, and then he's going to go. So you would get two years of that. But it's not a bad idea. I mean, I can't complain about it.
No.
Get guys that come in and play.
Produce.
Yeah. That's all I want.
If you're not paying Davis, If you're not paying Davis, then you're definitely not paying Moro Jomo. So that's why DT it's just always, for me, it's always been on the radar. D line's been on the radar for me. Edge rushers, they have, they added 2 more with Uche and obviously Ojulari and having Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith now. But DT is just another one because of just the expiring contracts you're going to have. You just can't pay everybody. So you need somebody that fresh on a rookie deal that you don't have to pay that, if you don't want to keep Davis, you don't want to pick up the 5th-year option, Walter Nolan's right there for the next 4 years with a 5th-year option.
That's what they're going to, that's what we're going to find out. We are going to find out. All right, guys. Well, I think we're an hour in. I guess that's about wrap it up. You got anything going on tomorrow?
Yeah, just a video, and we're gonna start some streams this week.
We'll do a preview stream Wednesday.
Yeah,
right, Wednesday. So we will be doing a preview stream Wednesday night, guys. Leon Banks, David Super Chat. He goes, Goedert and a pick for TJ Watt. Yes or no? I say yes.
Has there been an update on or no?
I'll go no. What's that?
Has there been an update on the TJ Watt situation? I haven't heard it.
The problem with the Watt stuff is just the money you have to pay. He wants to be the highest paid guy. So you're talking over $40 million. I think that's why it doesn't work,
I mean, even what's his face from Cincinnati? He hasn't even got a contract yet.
I know.
Hasn't even got a contract yet. Like nobody wants to. Who's going to pay that right now? Nobody wants to pay
Hendrickson. That. Yeah, he might get traded too. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, and this is my theory about this draft. It's going to go heavy edge rushers. It's going to go heavy line because these guys are making $40+ million a year. Nobody wants to pay that. They'd rather get a guy on a rookie deal. So I think that's going to create the opportunity for the Eagles to get the best safety in the league. That's my theory. We'll see how it works.
I want to ask you one more thing. Do you think Trotter Jr. is next in line to play next to Zach Baun? Do you think? Yeah.
I like him. I think he can play. I think he had to get a little stronger, a little better tackling. But the one thing I like about Trotter, in the short amount we saw from him, he's very instinctual. He knows what's going to happen before it happens. I think he could play. I think that the Eagles believe he could play. I think they'll add more linebacker. They're going to add depth linebacker at some point. You got to. But, yeah, I think so. It was – I mean, look, he was close to playing in the playoffs.
Right,
so
right.
He was right there for the taking. I think so. I think they're going with him. Baldio Davis Super Chat. Browns are great for screwing up the market. This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great Easter. We're gonna be out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not putting anything out tomorrow. I'm just
I keep forgetting it's
the holiday with the family.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be with the family, and I will see you guys Monday. It's going to be a busy week.
Yes.
So you guys have a great day. Take care. We will talk to you later. And peace. We out.
Peace.
Time. Oh shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dad! That was on you, Dad! That was on you, Dad!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott! Trying to feed the fantasy lamb! Trying to feed the sea lamb! You tried to feed the sea lamb! You got to give it to sea lamb! God! It's over! It's over, Dak! Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking